and I didn't tell SMEEF this. We're with SMEEF today. It's going to be a really bad episode for a few reasons. One, I'm already late. Two, no one's here. There's like 5 points, I think. Three, I've got nothing written down because I haven't paid attention to fuck all that's been going on this week. Because I've just been doing jack shit.
Best ones, considering how energetic I am. And why do you have people eating chicken in the background of your live stream? That's so fucking scuffed.
It's already bad.
And then no. And you have all these sound panels like right behind you that are falling off the walls.
Thanks for pointing that out. I was hoping everyone would just ignore that. Yeah.
No, I'm pointing it out. Dude. What the fuck?
It's a metaphor for this podcast because everything is constantly
it's a metaphor
falling
for
apart.
how scuffed it is.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for Jesus.
Because everything's just falling apart all the time. But the other thing is that like my biggest fear of live streaming, especially being in Australia, is that we have spiders, right? My biggest fear is that one day there'll be a fucking spider on live stream while I'm streaming, and I will just freak the fuck out and squeal like I do when I see one, and everyone will see how much of a bitch I am around spiders. Now, yesterday I was in this room. I saw a fucking spider on the TV behind me. I was like, ah!
I think, honestly, dude, I think you're just being a pussy. Spiders aren't even that, they're not even that scary. I don't like how could people be scared of bugs, dude? They're just bugs.
Of live stream. Well, it got away, so it's still at large somewhere in this room. That's what I'm scared it's gonna fucking pop out right now.
Well, yeah, I don't get how people are scared of bugs. Like, how could you be scared of bugs?
Yeah, but
they're small. You could step on them.
You're in Canada, though.
Yeah, and
yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's still bugs. Like, they're just tiny bugs.
But you're not in Australia where they fucking can kill you, even though no one has died from one since the 70s. You can still lose a limb.
Well, then why are you scared if no one has died from them since the 70s?
Because
ShockMouths? Are you in the 70s?
I wish.
I wish too, because you look like you were in the 70s. Please shave that beard.
No, it's the only fucking hair I have left, apart from the ones on my dick, but no one...
Oh yeah, you shaved your head for Keemstar!
Yeah!
What the fuck? That's so fucking scuffed. That's so funny too. What the hell?
Alright, I'm gonna play the thing now.
Go make some fucking cartoons, you fucking bastard.
ShockMouths needs to fix the rug!
Are you seriously that fucking naive? And ShockMouths is the expert. He's the boob expert.
I heard
didn't
his
fuck up the opening,
podcast,
yay.
and it's
I mean, I
awful.
kinda
Don't listen to it.
Hello everyone, welcome to the ShockMouths podcast. I'm Mitch. Ripley is not here today, but we have instead SMEEF from SMEEF Show. SMEEF Podcast.
SMEEF Show!
Yeah.
The SMEEF Show! Yes. I run my own podcast.
Before we get into that, I gotta say why Ripley isn't here today, because it's fucking hilarious. Well, it's not that hilarious. Today he's at community college at TAFE, but last week he wasn't here. It turned out I couldn't stream, but I was gonna, and last week he couldn't come because his driveway was getting paved over. And if you don't know, Ripley's in a wheelchair, so he couldn't get into his own fucking house. His own house was fucking non-wheelchair accessible. He had to go stay at his grandmother's. I was like, dude, what the fuck?
That's so sad.
You've been cucked by your own house.
You've been cucked by your own house. Well, at least it's better than being cucked by your wife.
Oh my god. Yeah, maybe
Anyways,
that's
how are you doing, ShockMouths?
Good.
This is my podcast now. I'm taking over.
Good.
It's the SMEEF podcast on ShockMouths channel.
Yeah, it'll be a fucking improvement. How old are you, SMEEF? I don't even know how old you are.
I'm 17.
I knew it! I knew you were under 18! I fucking knew it! I'm glad I checked, because, I thought you were, 19. I'm like, nah, I gotta check.
Well, how would you, does it matter?
Yes! You're underage!
Why does it matter?
You're underage! You can't
For
drink!
what? What reason?
You can't drink!
I could drink in 6 months here. I'm in Manitoba.
Oh, well, sometimes I make, stupid fucking gay jokes, right?
Then make gay jokes.
But I can't!
Look, listen,
I can't, you're underage!
No, listen, on my fucking podcast, I talk about myself fucking a can of yogurt.
Yes, but you're allowed to fuck a can of yogurt because
Yeah, I am, but the thing is, I'm
also... You can't get
also...
arrested for that.
You can't get arrested for that in general. What are you talking about?
No. I can't say that I'm gay for you and shit like that and be joking because you're underage. Even though
okay.
I think
why do you want to be gay for me?
I don't. No.
Then why are you bringing it up? Okay, ShockMouths, this is off the rails already. What are you doing?
I need to just lay the boundaries down. Like, you're not 18.
What boundary?
There are
You
boundaries
shouldn't even
now.
have brought it up.
Yeah, I had to. You gotta check. You a cop? You gotta tell me you're a cop. You're under 18. You gotta tell me you're
I'm
under
not
18.
I'm not a cop, and I'm under 18. Yes.
Okay. Well, but here's the other thing: is that I think that's probably, I think it's legal in Australia. It's unclear because like the age of consent in Australia is 16, but it used to be, and I think they updated this, but it used to be for gay guys it was 18. So like straight, it was.
That's kind of fucked. That's kind of weird.
It was kind of fucked.
That definitely is kind of fucked.
But
It's not equality.
I think they updated it. I don't know, but back when I was 16, 18, like that was the deal.
You know what's fucked here though? Like in Manitoba, they have this thing called close in age exception like law where like a 14-year-old could date an 18-year-old, and it's so like
yeah.
It's like why? Like why would you have that? Just make the age of consent 16. Well, it is
Just a hard
16.
16. Yeah.
But like a 14-year-old dating like someone 5 years older than them, they could date like a 19-year-old. That's so fucked.
So that's in Canada, is it?
That's in Canada. It's in Manitoba.
That's
Manitoba is scuffed because like in Canada, it's one of the only places where like you could drink at 18 and smoke weed at 19.
I think it's fucked that it only took us 6 minutes to get into the discussion of fucking age of consent.
I didn't bring this up. You did this. You did. What kind of podcast do you run? How old are you?
Not a good one.
Oh, I'm not. Probably not. Mine neither. Anyways, yeah, I run a podcast too. It's the SMEEF show on my YouTube channel, which you guys should subscribe to.
Yeah, I think I put that in the description of YouTube. Yeah, I did. So why do you call yourself SMEEF?
Well, it was a cool name from Game Grumps, and then like after like fucking a year of using it as my username, I found out what it meant, and it's a semen queef when a guy comes in a girl's vagina and like she queefs and then the semen comes out. And that's
so it's
I know,
a sexual
right?
name. It's a sexual name.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was a sexual name until it was a sexual name.
Mine is too. But I knew
ShockMouths.
I knew it going in, and that's why I picked it.
Well, I didn't know going in, and then I got sad.
Oh. That's the difference. You accidentally do fucked up shit and get sad, and I just fucking dive in.
Well, no, I do fucked up shit on purpose too. I literally I have no shame when it comes to my podcast. I think that's that's what me and you have in common. Like we don't like we could talk about whatever the fuck we want without a filter. I talked about killing a hamster when I was 11, fucking a yogurt.
Hold up, go back. A hamster.
I literally just I uploaded that episode last month. I talked about accidentally killing.
Oh, accidentally.
My cousin's hamster.
I thought you deliberately killed a hamster.
Oh no, but I've had friends that like put mice in jars and throw them in lakes, and I also talked about that in a podcast.
Did they come in the jar?
Okay, guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, killing hamsters by throwing them in the lake. That's okay, but like coming in it beforehand.
I didn't kill a hamster by throwing it in the lake. They killed mice, like wild mice, by throwing them in jars, closing the jars, and throwing them in lakes.
Yeah. No, I don't know why that, like, because yeah, people would probably kill vermin and not feel bad about it, but like as soon as you do weird shit like that, like chuck it in a lake, people would be like, oh
you
no,
get
you
labeled
can't
like a
fucking do that.
psychopath, like you do.
Hey, Killy something masturbatory. I can't say this guy's name. Masturbatory tales of wonder.
Masturbatory tales of wonder.
Yeah.
Wonderment.
And
But
Bob
you know,
said the N word. Yes, he did.
There was this, like, I never talked about this on the podcast, but I'll tell you this is an exclusive ShockMouths podcast SMEEF story from the SMEEF show.
Sorry, every time you say SMEEF now, I'm just gonna think of cum oozing out of a vagina. I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining either. I'm literally not complaining either. It's such a good thing. But
you should try it sometime.
You should no. If you're like a lot of these people don't realize like how good it is to having a vagina sucks. I wouldn't know, but I've heard many stories of like there's so much maintenance going into having a vagina.
Oh yeah, you gotta like shove shit up it like once a month. And...
Yeah, of course.
Like that isn't.
Or you could use pads, because like I don't know. Well, anyways, when I was like 8, I went to this thing called Kid City. Do you have that in Australia?
What's a Kid City? It sounds like pedophile.
It's
heaven.
like it. literally, yeah. For for like those guys that like are creepy and have no kids and go there. No, but it was like this indoor theme park, right? Like with like swings and ball pits and everything like that, and like a big play structure.
Yeah,
and there's this laser tag thing.
We got something.
And
similar,
in those like in that ball pit, I was 8. I literally just pulled down my pants and just shit on the fucking like on the floor of the ball pit, and I didn't wipe because I was 8.
So this was only 9 years ago.
Yeah.
In 2010.
In 2010, yes.
In 2010, you
In
were taking a
2010.
shit on the floor.
In a ball pit, yes. I don't know why I did it. I didn't even think it was funny. I just did it.
This just highlights how young you are.
This just highlights how fucked up I am.
And how young, like that you can say that and like that you did that in 2010, and it's not that much. I mean, it's a bit of a problem, but not as much as if I said I did that in 2010 when I was like 23.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 32 this month.
Jesus.
What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck do you mean by that?
You look nothing, but you kind of look.
Yeah, see, this is why I gotta ask you, are you under 18? Because like, yeah, if I was 20 and a 17-year-old fucking go and make an engagement, it doesn't matter. But like a 32-year-old and so no, this is why I ask. This is why I check.
That's fair. That's fair. But
oh, now you think it's fair? Yeah, good.
That's 32, but you know it's kind of old, bro.
Yeah, I know. Here's the scary thing about being 32. Like, you know how like. Because you're 17, like, you know how each year you feel like a little bit older, like mentally or whatever.
And then whenever you turn 30, that it just like it leaves.
No, it stops at about 23.
Wait, really?
Yes. So how you feel at 23 is how you just feel forever. So I still feel 23, and so like you'll make jokes and shit that you'll make when you're 23, but then you got to like stop and go, no, I can't fucking say that because I'm a 32-year-old man.
You don't have a midlife crisis or something?
Yeah. No, I had a quarter life crisis at 20. And I was like, oh
really?
my god. Yeah. Oh yeah, that happens. Man,
but why though?
You're in for so much shit. Because you're nearly dead. That's why. That's why they happen.
Oh, I had that last week. What are you talking about?
No, because you realize, like, because there's like a part in your 20s where you're like, this is like optimum. This is my optimum age. I'd like it to stop now. And I want to be this age forever.
Like that's your prime. That's your prime.
And then it doesn't stop and it keeps going. And then the more it keeps going, the more you realize, oh shit, this isn't stopping. And it's not going to stop. And I'm going to like fucking fade away into dust.
Man, your podcast sucks if you're just talking about this. It's so depressing.
You brought it up.
What did I bring up?
You're like, how old are you? And then I'm like, well, here we go. I'm going to give him the fucking I'm dying speech of old age.
Well, you are dying. What are you talking about?
We're all dying.
You're 50,
of
right?
old age. Oh, fuck's sake.
I mean, you do look. I mean, like it looks like you're in chemotherapy right now for cancer.
Oh god. No wonder. I was listening to your latest episode you put out this morning. No wonder you didn't know that fucking Nelson Mandela was dead. You didn't know he was dead.
Well, I'm 17. What do you expect me to know?
You also said, I don't know if he's still in jail. He got out of jail in like the 80s or something.
Well, I don't know who. Listen. I'm like Billie Eilish, not knowing who Van Halen is. I'm not gonna fucking know who Nelson Mandela is. I'm 17.
You know, he was like president of South Africa in like the late 90s. Like, he got out of jail.
Good for him.
Had a career, and you're like, is he like alive in jail? No, he's out of jail.
Well, good for him.
Dead.
He's dead.
Yeah,
he's dead now. Good for him, but he's dead.
Yeah, I also listened to another bit of your podcast, and I got a fucking oh shit, where is it? Here it is. This bit right here. Just take a listen to this bit.
Like, I don't want to say this to seem egotistical, but I feel like me, Augie RFC, and Internet Genders are the only like good podcasts out there.
Wow, you're taking my words out of context.
If you think then I'm gonna do.
You said that those are the only good podcasts. What the fuck?
I apologize, but I didn't watch your podcast at that time.
Yeah, I know. I'm just teasing. I know,
but it's you know.
Even if you did, I
And it-
totally would be okay with you just not saying it. I just wanted to fucking tease you.
Yeah, but I didn't realize you didn't come to mind because I don't really like watch you, but like I watch a lot of other people. This podcast is bad, so it's kind of like
Yeah, you gotta just.
I'm kidding. No, it's a good podcast. I mean, look so far. This is turning out very well.
Moosh said, "Why are you 32? Stop being 32." I'm not 32 yet. I'm 32 at the end of the month. I'm still 31, and then I'll stop being
Speaking of
32
which-
by killing myself. Sorry. Yeah.
What the fuck?
No, that
The
was
fuck?
that was a joke. Don't call kids helpline or anything because I'm too old.
Yeah,
for that.
but no. Speaking of which, in 6 months I'm turning 18, and you know what that means? Snorting
You're-
coke off of hookers' titties and fucking my. I'm not gonna say this because like I was gonna make a really fucked up joke that I would make in a private call, but I think people have suspected that I love incest because I said in my podcast this morning that there's so much incest in my town, so I'm not gonna talk about that.
So like. By that, do you mean like you like incest porn? Wow, fuck, you're not allowed to watch porn. See,
I
this-
don't like
can't-
I don't
can't
like
count.
incest, but like no, listen.
Okay, but do you like the
Like-
idea of it, or do you just have like a cousin that you want to fuck? Because you can do that.
You
out
wanted
here.
to you're basically just asking me if I'd fuck my own sister. No, I would not fuck my own sister.
Okay, good. That's what I like. to
Okay,
hear.
but like I said on my podcast,
Yeah, I'm
like
saying
that,
he's underage. You can't fucking no. This is why
no,
I
I would
asked,
never.
no.
I would
good.
never.
Don't watch pornography because you're underage.
Yeah, no. It's
Don't do
bad.
that.
It's bad. But no, I said on my podcast that like I live in this like tight knit town and like everybody's related here. Like everybody's related here. So it's kind of like they're all cousins and they're all
Yeah.
related. So it's like,
I know.
who are they gonna fuck? Who are they gonna make babies with?
I know what you mean because I'm from Newcastle, Australia. It's very much the same thing. Like we all have a look. Like in
Yeah,
Sydney,
no-
I can spot someone from there because like we have a look. We're all related.
Oh, are you part of this family? Meanwhile, they look like fucking sloths from Goonies.
When you're 18, are you able to like go like? Do you live near the U.S. border? Yeah, like because it doesn't like run along a river. You could just go to the riverside and like drink, looking at the the land of the free where they're not allowed to fucking drink at 18.
What do you consider like close to the U.S. border?
Toronto.
Oh, I live like 4 or 5 hours away from the border.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd make the trip. I would go down there.
make the trip. I've gone further. I've gone to like Edmonton, Calgary, all those places, Saskatchewan.
Because Canada's like Australia. They just stole a bunch of names from England, and then also used some Indigenous names.
Yeah, buddy. Canada's superior than Australia, though.
I know. No, you know what I like about Canada is that it's got the best things of Australia and the best things of America.
Like mushed together.
Yeah, mushed together, and the bad parts removed. Like you've got healthcare, you've got fucking cool police names like Constable instead of the fucking military shit like in the US.
We don't
where it's
have
like,
constable. We have
Yes, you
like
do.
the Mountie, and the RCMP.
You've got
all
constables.
this other stuff. We don't have constables. What are you talking about?
Fuck you. I'm gonna check this.
I've never heard anybody where I live say,
I don't
"Oh,
care enough to check.
get the constables." But you know what's cool where I live?
No, it's a
There are
rank.
polar
It's a
bears.
rank. Constable is a rank. It's
Yeah,
not-
but you know what's cool where
you
I
don't
live?
say-
I live in Manitoba,
Oh,
and
okay.
like there are polar bears where I like around like the same places.
you just
like, certain
doxing
places.
yourself.
I don't care. I've talked about living in Manitoba for a long
No,
time.
it's just that's a tradition on this podcast. We accidentally doxed a guest one time. She doxed herself.
Did you actually?
No.
What happened?
We had Twizfizz on a few weeks ago, and like before the stream, she like told me her address in Skype chat because I was sending her something, and then
you just switched the screen.
well, no, what happened was I told her to delete it from the chat. I'm like, all right, I've got it now. I've written it down. Delete it just in case. I don't know what'll happen. And then so I had her webcam on screen, full screen, and then all of a sudden, Skype put up the last chat message on screen, which was her address, and it was like, why
That's so scuffed, man.
Yeah, it was. Is that your word? Scuffed? What does that even mean? What does that?
Scuffed means like shitty, terrible. It's underwhelming.
Is that
you know
a
what I
Canada
mean?
word?
No, scuffed is like a fucking slang word.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you. Have you seen this movie like recently? It came out in November called The Irishman.
No.
Have you heard about it?
I've heard
It
about
stars
it.
Robert De Niro.
Because film Twitter
Joe
won't shut the
Pesci.
fuck up about it, and it's like,
It's so fucking good, Shockmouths. It stars Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and like who else was that? The guy from Wolf of Wall Street playing what was it?
Leo DiCaprio.
No, not the fucking. What are you talking about?
He was in Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't know who the actor was, but it was pretty good. It's about like it's about like old mob families and stuff like that. Uh, like yeah, okay, I'm getting to something. You notice like I have like this fucking like Boston accent sometimes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I couldn't.
Okay, you know
pinpoint.
where I got that from?
From watching The Departed.
No, from watching Joey Diaz. You know who Joey Diaz is?
No.
He's a podcaster like Joe Rogan.
Oh.
But this isn't uneventful. Talk about something that I could like.
All right. So I read this thing. I don't know where I saw this article, but I saw that scientists discovered how to grow human skin, and this is where my fucked up mind went. So I immediately went, well, can we grow extra dicks? Can we
like it like that? Well,
if we can grow human skin, we can grow a dick. If you can,
some people are born with extra penises. You know
yeah.
that, right?
Well, this wouldn't apply to them, but this would apply to people who grow an extra dick. If we can grow an extra dick, is it cheating if we grow the dick after the wedding, and then that dick fucks somebody? Because that dick didn't enter the marriage contract. That dick didn't make the commitment.
That dick you own that dick. It's a part of your human body.
No, but the dick wasn't present. The dick wasn't there when you said "I do." My life
no,
is just...
but listen. You're a human being and you have an extra penis, right?
Yep.
You develop an extra penis. Say like you cut off the tip of your finger and like and like it grows back because they can grow back.
Then you can poke her in the pussy with that finger.
No, you can't. Like what the hell? That's cheating.
All right, fine. Maybe that is, but not with the dick. Not with the dick.
Yeah, the dick, of course it is.
You know what happens when you get married? It just becomes this like it just becomes this forever thing of just pushing boundaries of like, well, can I do this? No, you can't. You can't. You're married. Well, can I do this? And like, maybe, debatable.
I'm gonna be real with you. I want to get married.
You do? Why?
Yeah, when I 5 years from now.
5?
I want to get like
dude,
married.
Wait 11. Wait, no, you're 17. Wait 13 years. Just fucking wait. Do it.
Why? It's like marriage is one of the things that is to me is wonderful, and it seems like something I want to spend my life with someone. You know what I mean?
Okay, but that's the thing. It's until one of you is dead. It's until one of you dies and stops breathing. Like it's that intense. It's fucking intense.
I believe in monogamy. I believe in monogamy, man.
Oh, I do too. But it's still one of you is dead. Until one of you is standing over the dead body of the other one, going, "I won."
I don't know. I just think that like marriage is sacred, and it's one of the few things in life that could make people really happy.
It can. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Are you happy in your marriage? Well, then why are you trying to convince me not to get married? Are you happy in your marriage?
Yes.
Good.
Are you happy in your non-married life? You're not even old enough to get married yet, and you're already looking forward to this thing.
Year. I am, because like my whole philosophy in life is to make other people happy, right?
Yep.
Make other people happy, and you'll eventually be happy.
Is that why you were okay with your friends putting mice in a jar and chucking it in a lake because you wanted friends to be happy?
No, that's not why.
You're like, hey man, if that makes you happy.
Well, if it does make them happy, then so be it. I'm not gonna like I told people it's funny. So is this podcast just ShockMouths complaining about his marriage? Yeah. I mean, he can. Like, it's funny.
We all need an outlet. We all need to just get the fuck away. And this is like that. I get an hour a week away from her, like, because we work at the same place. So, like, yeah, I need to fucking just complain. What am I gonna she's a fucking normie on YouTube. That's actually written in my notes here, and I don't know why I wrote that down. But she did something, and I'm like, you fucking normie. She's the kind of YouTube user that, like, goes to the homepage and she'll only watch what's on the fucking homepage.
Yo, ShockMouths, my mom is calling me.
Oh.
That's how young I am. My mom is calling me.
And you've got to answer it?
Yes, she's gonna fucking yell at me. I'll give you the breakdown. You talk to your fucking chat.
All right. Oh, he's gone. He's muted himself. Wow, he left me. All right. So this is why I gotta ask people. This is why I should ask people before I get them on the stream if they're fucking over the age of 18. You gotta be able to like ignore calls from your mother. That's how old you have to be to get on this podcast from now on. But there's a link to the Discord if anyone wanted to come in and try and save the shit show. Ghost Hit said, just split your dick down the middle. Boom, 2 dicks. No. No, that's not how it works. It would break. It would break like that. Twistfizz also said, how many dicks do you want? 2. I want 2. I want 1 for peeing and 1 to just not get used. But it's supposed to be doing other stuff with, but it won't get used. It'll just fucking sit in the cabinet like a trophy. But it's not a trophy. It's like a participation trophy. Like, oh shit, Young Noodle just gave $3. Thank you so much.
Some people don't know the struggle.
I've been waiting weeks for that to pop up. Fucking yes. ShockMouths has my something in a jar for safekeeping. It bleeped it out. I don't know what he said.
I am cool. I am back. I am.
Oh, you're
cool.
back. All right. What happened? What'd your mum want?
She told me you better get those damn dishes done before I get back, or I'll fucking
Is she
take
Mexican?
your money away for you. No, she's Canadian, but I just don't do good female accents.
Female accents.
Female voices. I
Okay,
can't do
that's-
female voices.
That's what you got to say. Accents. Women don't have their own. Could you imagine if women did have their own accent?
But that would be awesome, dude.
Yeah, you could fucking. I don't know. I was trying to think of how that could be an advantage, and I can't think. Yeah. Did you participate in No Upload Day?
No, I don't know. When was no upload day?
It was like last week, and it was fucking dumb. It was dumb.
That is fucking dumb. I would never do that.
Because in order for that to happen, every single person would have to stop, and even then, I don't think
Like 10
would
million
work.
people,
Yeah.
10 million people do YouTube videos.
Like-
They would have to stop like uploading like their fucking work on YouTube and not get their ad revenue to support their fucking channel every day. To like why would you do that? That's so dumb.
Because what would happen, even if like major people like Philip DeFranco didn't upload that day, the viewers are still going to be logging into YouTube that day. They're still going to be watching shit. They're just going to be watching other people. Like, it'll be like what's called a vacuum. People will come in and fill that void. Like, it wouldn't work. Anyway, I just wanted to say that was dumb.
Strikes like that are so dumb. Like if you're gonna strike about something, do it the right way.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
You know, but you know, did you hear that like YouTube Rewind was shit today?
Sorry, what did you say?
Did you hear that YouTube Rewind was really shit today?
Ah, yeah, I was going to watch that in this stream. I was going to watch it at the end in case we got nuked for it.
You know what? Fucking, I hate it so much. Honestly, it's just Watch Mojo.
You already saw
That's it. Yeah, I already saw it.
Oh.
It's Watch Mojo. That's it. It's just top tens, bro.
Is it worth even watching on this thing?
No, it's not. It's not worth
Alright.
watching. You know what it is? It's just a list of the top 10 most like. They're like, we fucked up. So here's a top 10 list of how many YouTube videos got 10,000 likes
You
to 10 million things. That's it. That's basically it.
you fucked us in the ass so hard a year ago. It's still hurting, and we're still like fucking putting ointment on our ass.
That's true. That's true.
Are you on TikTok?
No, why would I be on TikTok?
Because
I'm too
you're
much
in
of
the age range. You're the age range of TikTokers.
Look, I do a podcast. What do you
Yeah.
expect?
What do you mean you do?
Like we both do podcasts. Why would I do TikTok?
Well, I'm on TikTok.
Plus, I'm too fucking ugly to do it to do
Yeah.
that shit.
So am I. And I'm too old. Why you gotta let? why
I
you gotta
mean,
let
you're
shit
not.
like
Well,
that
the
stop
thing
you?
is, you're not wrong. You're old. You can't do it. I could do it, but I'm young. But you're ugly and old, so it's kind of like. I'm sorry, that was mean.
It's actually TikTok is the most woke thing that I've ever come across. Like Twitter, I thought Twitter was woke, but TikTok has made me see that like Twitter has like a section that's woke.
Okay,
But-
I watch TikToks on Twitter, but you know what's so funny about like TikToks? I love the ones where it's like if there's an ant walking across the screen, on the other side of the screen, a guy just like crawls over, simulating that he's the ant. It just makes me so happy.
You just sounded like a grandmother explaining a meme.
What the fuck you, man? Fuck you.
Like, okay, cool. That sounded like a cool meme. But like,
wow, dude.
but the wokeness of TikTok made me realize something, and I got to choose my words carefully because I'll get fucking cancelled if I say it wrong, right? So there's this thing now with like I think it's your generation that's like starting it, where like in their bios and stuff they'll put their pronouns like he, him, she, her, they, them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I understand that. I'm
Yeah.
just respectful of it. I don't have an opinion on it.
Well, I don't either, but because I'm old, I think it's because I'm old. At first, I was like, oh, like, if you're obviously he, him, like, why would you? This is why I gotta be careful with my words, right? I've changed. I've kind of changed my my position. So let me just explain. So when I was around a bit younger than you, coming on the internet, whenever you'd go into like a chat, you'd say ASL, and you'd instantly just give out your age, your
That
sex,
sounds
and
like
location.
that. Honestly, just sounds like an Omegle person asking for nudes.
Yeah. Well, all right, but that was just the thing that you did. And I think older people, like back then when I was a kid, they wouldn't understand it. They'd be like, "Why the fuck are you just telling this stranger all this stuff? Like, why would you do it?" And I would have been like, "Well, because that's what we do. We do it." Like, and I think that's kind of like what it is. I think I'm too old to like understand. And I think it's this new thing, and it's probably going to become the norm. Like in online.
So they, them,
profiles.
like he, him, she, her is the
I
new like ASL of this generation. Like
Yeah.
I understand that,
Yeah, I think it is.
but like I don't know if
I caught you off guard. You're like, I don't know. Oh, it's too. Oh man, I love talking about fucked up shit, but this is just too much of a hot topic for me.
it's not. It's not like the thing is I don't have an opinion with this. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't know how to like get my words out on it. It's just something
I don't know how to
that-
get my
it's
words
just
out without getting cancelled.
Yeah, but no, but like I have a few like trans friends like that. It's more respectful like if they say that like they're like this
Yeah,
and that. And I know like you're this, you're that. I'll call you this and I'll call you that because you want to be that and you are that. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about people like, say, if you saw it on mine, if you saw me put he, him on mine.
When it's not even needed and you have
Yeah.
like your
Yeah,
I
that's the
understand.
part. That's the part where I was like, what? Like, yeah, with those friends of yours, yeah, I get it. I've always got that. I've always understood that. But like, I think it's gonna be it's gonna become a normal thing for, even like you and I to do it.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's that could be a good thing, but it can be a bad thing at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard there was a guy who like fired. I can't remember if I saw this on Twitter or TikTok. There was a guy who runs a business. And he had an employee complain that someone else had put he, him in the signature of their email, in a work email. So he fired the guy who complained about it. And he's like,
Well,
that's what we do.
That's kind of just dumb, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember. I think he like I think the employer like made everyone put it in their signature. He was like, this is what we do now. And I think it's going to... Anyway. All right, let's move on before I get cancelled. If I'll say any more, I'll get fucking...
You know,
I'll get fucking cancelled.
I cannot take you seriously by watching your stream. There's just people eating chicken in the background of your fucking stream. I can't focus like at all.
Good. That's why I put it there. You know, I put that there because I think this was... I can't remember if this was last September or the one before. I think it was last... Anyway, Mr. Jesse Hammond's that dude in the middle. He made a chicken mukbang video... And he like did it as a premiere. I think I was sitting on the toilet taking a shit when I was watching it. Not that matters.
That's so fucking
but
funny.
he did it as a premiere. So like, you know, when things are a premiere, you don't know how long the video is going to be. It doesn't tell you. And so I'm sitting here watching this premiere of him eating chicken. By the time it was all done, I think like 40 minutes went by. That's how long the video went. I'm like, I can't believe I just watched him eat chicken for 40 minutes.
You were sitting on the toilet watching him eat chicken for 40 fucking minutes.
Yes, and I'm like, that's my background now. It's like a lava lamp. It's so
But
relaxing.
why?
It's a lava lamp, dude. Look at him.
But why do you find mukbangs relaxing?
And
I find them super fucking... You know, I seen Trisha Paytas like do a fucking mukbang video, and I'm like, this is like a hippo eating. I cannot... Like, I'll go to the zoo if I want to see this.
Did you just call Jesse a hippo?
No, I called fucking Trisha Paytas a hippo.
Oh, Trisha. No, it's like I've got it on loop. Like, you can't tell when it fucking starts up again.
Like, I
guarantee you
but,
can't.
like,
Yeah,
why-
exactly.
Like, why?
Because it's funny to me. Weird shit's
Why
funny
is
to
it
me.
Listen. You have boomer humor.
Fuck off.
You have boomer humor.
That's not
I'm sorry.
boomer humor. How is that
It is.
boomer
It's-
humor?
Like, listen. You're watching. You're sitting on a stream and you see guys eating chicken in the background. That's boomer humor.
How?
I don't. It just seems so
Wait,
old.
I
Like
gotta-
what I would do. Like put
Hiatus.
dancing big chungus, Ugandan chungus, or something like that. Like something that people would watch.
Shit. That's Trisha Paytas?
Trisha Paytas.
Wait, Trisha Paytas. That's her.
Put her on screen. Put her on screen. She
Yeah,
looks
I
like she looks like Gloria from Madagascar.
Jesus Christ.
She looks like fucking like
Is there like nudes of her? I don't want to scroll down and accidentally.
There is
stream-
nudes of her.
All right,
but
well, I'm
don't-
getting
but
that
just-
off. No, I don't want to accidentally show nudes.
Yeah, don't accidentally show nudes, but I don't think it'll show up in Google search. But just like that's Shishapetas.
I always search unsafe on unsafe. Well, who's got time for safe Google search? I don't.
I do not.
I know,
do not.
because you're
cannot.
underage and you're not allowed and you'll get in trouble. But like, I'm a little too old for my mother to be yelling at me for what I Google search.
Wait, your mom watches the stream?
No, she doesn't. I tried to explain it to her
I was
the other
about
week.
to say like that's about to make me act up, dude. That's about to make me act up.
What do you mean? You're gonna hit on my mom?
I mean, I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
I tried to explain it to her the other week because it came up somehow in conversation, and she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Oh, it's live on the internet." Like, she's like, "What do you mean live?" I'm like, "Everyone can see it live." She's like, "Oh, and people watch?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "How many?" I said, "About 5." She goes,
You
"Oh."
lied about people watching because no one watches.
Yeah, I know. I said about 5, and she goes, "Oh, that's not many." I'm like, "How fucking many is a lot then to you?" Like, fuck. That's heaps.
Well, I mean, usually on my podcast, I get like 200 views, 300 views. It really just depends.
Oh no,
You
I
know
meant
what
I meant live concurrent viewers. But yeah, 200.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
That's actually pretty good. 200. I think I get about 50.
You know, no, like the thing about doing YouTube nowadays, it's like it's just a hit or miss thing. It's either like you have that one shot of opportunity to get big and you miss it, or you suck off one of your popular friends. You know what I mean?
Or you shave your head.
Or you shave your head.
I'm
Yeah,
so
or you
pissed
shave your
off
head.
that was the biggest fucking thing that I did was fucking shave all my hair. Like how
The biggest
pathetic.
fucking the biggest fucking thing I did was like a podcast with Pivots, an animator from Game Grumps, and no one watched it for me or
one is
Pivots.
that?
They just watched it for the fucking like the title. It's called Belch Bros, and it went on the fucking burping fetish forum.
So hang on, I gotta add this to my reminder thing. I gotta watch this later. Pivot. What does he do on Game Grumps?
He animates for them sometimes.
Oh,
He does
Bel-
like promotional stuff, I think.
What's the episode called? So SMEEF game. Oh, it comes up. I type in SMEEF and Game Grumps just pops up.
Yeah, because I took my name from Game Grumps, remember?
Oh, yeah, of course. So
And then yeah, it's episode 9, I think, and I did it with Pivots, and it's called Belch Bros. It's one of the worst ones, but it got
Oh, yeah.
it got so much fucking views.
yeah, 859. All right, I'm gonna save. Oh, wait.
I do not know why. I do not know why.
All right, I'll watch that later.
If you were to rank the episodes of your podcast, what would be your like rank?
I think this is number 1 at the moment.
Really? You
Yeah.
think so?
Yeah, because I don't think there's been dead air yet, which is good.
There has never been dead air whenever I'm on the podcast. You know why? Because I'm so energetic and I don't know where to put my energy, so I put it like wherever I want to put it.
Oh, do you get consent first?
And I just like, no, I do not get consent. I'm kidding. But yeah, my podcast recently just hit like today actually 20 episodes.
Oh, that's good. Oh yeah,
And
I
it's
did.
so-
I saw that. Yeah, I already knew that.
And it's so like
That's
like
a
I have an
milestone.
artist, but he prefers to stay quiet. You know how much he prefers to stay under, like doesn't want to be known for making my stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I can't really say his name,
Do you-
but he does it, and I pay him for it. And it's like
Oh,
speaking of which, I have like 5 people working for me right now. I have like
Uh,
for my channel 5 people.
I got bad news for you. You're not getting paid for this.
I know. I don't care. But no, it's like I work pretty hard on my shit, and like it sucks to get like not as much views as you hope you will, because we both have like amazing quality in our content.
Twistfist said, "How dare you? Never coming on this podcast again." No, yours was good too. It's just the only reason why that's not like why I haven't put that like as number 1 is because you got doxxed by accident, and that has still traumatized me. Because like, yeah, I think I've said this before. I had like in my head like the worst possible things that could happen, so I could like mentally prepare for that. That was nowhere in the realm of being prepared for, and then it just happened. And then I've still got to come up with a kill screen. Like,
Oh,
how to-
I've doxed myself sometimes, but I just don't say my last name because like I don't like people knowing my last name.
Oh, what's your first name?
Like it's Ian, but my full
Ian.
name is Darian.
Your full first name.
My full first name is
Yeah.
Darian.
I think okay, yeah, I was gonna say because like you've said I don't want to give out my last name. You go, my first name's Ian, but my full name's Darian. What, Ian Darian?
Oh no, it's no. My full name is Darian, but I took the DAR out of it and just put Ian because Ian it rolls off the tongue better. You know what I mean?
You took the D out.
I took the D out of my name. You know,
That's
I took the D out of me.
That's what she did. That's
I
what
took
she
the
did.
D. Your mom and with me.
Oh my god.
Not gonna. But if you were a woman and you were older, I'm just saying, shit might get kind of
Hey,
freaky.
here's another scary thing about getting older, right? Is that
Okay,
like as you get older, like you're sort of well, I'm married, so like this doesn't really apply to me, but you still have like in your head like the sort of age range that you'd go for or whatever. So you're 17, so maybe your range is a few years, I reckon. You'd
What
go
do you mean, like what?
Your upper lower, your upper lower. So maybe like your lower is like 1 year and your upper is like 3, right?
It's like 2 years. 2 years.
All right. So whatever. But as you get older, that range gets a little wider and wider.
Yeah.
And wider of like but like my mom
So
had
you're
me
50,
so young.
You're 50 right now. You're 50 right now, and like you date a person that's like 80, right?
Maybe not 80, but you know, like, okay, what I'm trying, yeah. So, like, anyway, the range gets scarily close to your mom. If your mom had you super young like mine did, and it catches you off guard, and you're like, oh shit, like, my range is now, like, not at mom's age, but it's getting fucking close. And that's scary. That's when you're like, oh man, I got old.
Oh yeah, I have a rule for that. I know a couple years down the line, like 10 years down the line,
Yeah.
I have nieces, right? I have nieces, and one's like 4 years younger than me. Say 10 years down the line, I could never date anybody younger than her.
Yeah. Yeah, but then...
Like my niece is 13 right now, and I'm 17.
Okay,
She's,
but
4 years younger than me.
But yeah, that's what I mean. But like, say that right now you wouldn't go 4 years lower. But when you're 30, yeah, you could go 26. Your range gets bigger, and then
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but then my point is, if your mom had you young, it eventually starts to creep to that level, and it gets scary. Like,
Well, I mean, if I was like, if I had like, I wouldn't mind, honestly.
there's someone I know who is a few years older than me. She was with a guy who was like 10 years older than her. And then
Well,
I did
like-
math, and I'm like, oh shit, he's actually closer to my mom's age than she. Like, it was fucked.
I mean, I've been with a girl with a kid before.
Have you?
Yeah,
How old was she?
she was like a year, 2 years older than me. This was like recently, like a year ago.
So you were like stepdaddy.
I was stepdaddy. No, but I would never do that again. But like the thing is, like, you kind of hit that like that realization, like, damn, like when you're in your teenage years, you realize like, damn, I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Like I had this realization, like, you're like, wow, I'm like an adult now. Like, I'm managing people. I have a relationship. I have stuff like this.
I had a similar thought when I had a kid. Like,
You have a kid?
yeah, I have two. She's nearly 3.
That's awesome, man.
Oh, I
I
thought you were gonna
love
say
kids.
that. I thought you were gonna say that's fucked. But it.
No, I love kids. I want kids when I'm older. Like when I turn like 30 or like 20, 25 at least.
Yeah.
By the earliest, I'd want a kid. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And yeah. But it fucking.
Because like kids are so awesome, and like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, when they're
When I-
behaving, they're great. But then when they do shit like smear their feces on their forehead, that's not good.
I have like a 7-year-old niece as well. My sister has 2 kids. I have a 7-year-old niece, and she's doing gymnastics, and she's my fucking world. You know, like, you know what I mean?
It really hits you how responsible you are for them when you're left alone with them, and you're like, oh shit, I'm responsible for this living thing. And
yeah,
then,
of course.
like if danger enters the house, it's got to be up to me to like stop it, to fucking keep them
I
alive.
just imagine, like, if danger ever happened, shit like that. I just imagine myself getting a baseball bat and smashing a guy's head in.
Well, yeah, that's what you got to, because all of a sudden you used to like look up to your parents to do that shit, and now all of a sudden it's you.
Yeah,
And
like,
then and that's when you learn that they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
that is invigorating, and it is also a very scary thought to have.
Yeah.
With that scary realization that you're the protector of this thing, and you will always be the protector of this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, having a podcast is like having a baby because like you gotta keep like doing it over and over. Okay. No.
Speaking of babies, Alinity and her dog, because I think that's like a baby to her. Hey, you like that segue?
Jesus.
Did you see the dog
Yeah.
just sniffing the shit out of her?
I'm gonna be real with you.
Literally?
Alinity's pussy Alinity's either fucking her dog or she has a stanky pussy.
Yeah. See, the first clip that came out of the dog going for her ass. At first,
She's done it multiple times too.
Well,
Like she's done it.
That's the thing. When I saw the first one, I'm like, it's probably one off. Like, dogs are fucked. They'll do that, whatever. But then there was multiple clips of the dog doing this shit, and I started to think like, oh man, there has to be something going on, because like if it happened twice, at that point I'd be like, no, dog, you can't fucking come in my streams anymore.
Like
You're weird.
like sniff my pussy once, shame on you.
Yeah.
No, shame on me. But sniff my pussy twice, shame on you.
Like, I don't even let my cat in here because he loves to sit on my lap and stuff, and he gets all distracted. Like, no, you go outside. So like, let alone if he was sticking his head in my crotch and shit, which he doesn't do because we don't get up to freaky shit.
Young Noodle Arm put it in chat. Apparently she was on her period, so her dog was acting like a fucking shark in the sea when you get her caught.
Well, that's the other thing, is if she knew that if the dog did that while she's on her period, and she knows the dog does that, why is the dog in the room? Just put the fucking dog out.
I honestly love how we're having a debate whether or not like Alinity's period led to her dog like eating out her, like sniffing her pussy.
But even then, like, it's got to have a strong smell. You know,
That's fair. That's fair.
There isn't really. No, I will say with 100% certainty, there isn't a smell when you're on your period. There's no smell. I mean, maybe because their sense of smell is a lot higher than ours. Oh man.
That's fair. Well, you know, speaking of like girls on their period, like this little segue that I did talking about period, but like you there's so much fucked up shit on the internet where like you're scrolling down your timeline. Have you ever been in public and you see a picture of a girl eating her own period fucking like tampon?
What?
That has happened to me.
Have I been outside and seen a girl eating her
No. Have you been outside
Yeah.
and been on your phone and you're scrolling through Twitter?
Oh,
and
you've
you
seen
see
it
a
on the
picture-
phone. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you meant you
and
saw
then
it in the street.
No, in like you're sitting on the bus or something, then you pull up and then it's like this fucking like double-dicked guy, like fucking like I don't know.
Yeah, Twistfist says dogs do that though. See, yeah, that was what I thought when I saw the first one, but it was the fact that it kept happening over and over again, and she hasn't like put it outside. She should have kept it out. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I'm the same as Twistfizz. It's like, yeah, dogs are fucked. They might do that, but if you're a little bit switched on, yeah, you'd know to put the dog outside. Don't want.
Yeah, you would know if you're on your period. Like, stay away from dogs and sharks.
Oh god.
Or like really gross men on the
So
internet.
sorry, hang on. So you were scrolling in public and you fucking saw.
Yeah, I was scrolling and I was scrolling in public and I seen a picture of a woman eating her own period of a woman eating her own period tampon, and I was like, what the fuck?
Why did that pop up?
What do you look? I don't know. Like I have fucked up friends that retweet shit.
Oh, well, this reminds me of something that happened in 2010. So the same year that you were taking a shit on the floor in public in a kid's playroom.
Stop!
This happened to me in 2010. I was in a bar in Perth, opened up my phone, and then all of it, like, and the bar was packed. Open up my phone, and I don't give a fuck who knows this, but fucking Pornhub starts playing. I'm like, Jesus Christ! And the volume was up, and like no one saw it. Like,
Oh, I have no shame when it comes.
and I
to
had
that, man. Like
I had a full beer, and I had to debate whether to just abandon the beer and leave, or to like, I think I was like, no, I have to have this beer now.
at that point when that happens, you kind of just have to own it.
Yeah, I had to do that. Is that an alpha move?
That's a Chad move, because like I'm on the bus and shit like that. I'm on the bus and like that shit comes up like literally on my phone right now. If I go to my Safari in not incognito mode, I pull it up and I see like just fucking Pornhub in my tabs, and I'm like, you know what? Scroll past that. I don't give a fuck. It happened, and if people say about it, like, yeah, I watch porn. Everybody fucking watches porn. It's not like a big thing. Like, why does it matter?
Okay, but two things: you're underage. You shouldn't be doing that. And
Fair.
On the bus, there could be underage people. I'm over 18, and I was in an area of over 18s. These are two different things.
It's even better for you then.
It is even better for me. And they were full of Western Australians, and they don't count.
Well, the thing is, like, I would never do anything. like in general, like like just to do something illegal. If I do it on accident, then that's fair. But it's like I have no shame when it comes to that stuff. If you listen to my podcast, which you guys should do, by the way, people in chat, you should go subscribe to my channel. I'm almost at 1K. But like as I was saying, when you have a podcast, you kind of have to have no shame, or the podcast is going to be boring. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because like I talk about shit like that all the time. I talk about fucking a yogurt. I talk about coming inside my couch. I talk about like
Hang on, what?
Like
what?
How,
You came in your
I
couch?
talk about
Dude,
Big
that's
Mac
just
on the bus.
You're a Sonic figurine away from doing that inside
Shut
a Sonic.
the fuck up!
Like
No,
that-
listen.
like that
Listen, let
guy-
me finish.
that
Let
guy
me
on-
finish my conversation. You're just gonna shame me if I did.
I'm
When I
gonna
didn't
shame
finish
you.
my conversation. Okay, listen. I dropped a Big Mac on the bus and I picked it up and put it back in my bag when a girl looked at me.
Okay,
I was.
that's not bad. That.
That's not. That is. But
I mean, it is on its own, but compared to what you just said, I don't. No, that's all right. That's all right.
The thing is about that couch thing. I literally got that animated.
Why?
You could pull it up on screen. You can watch it right now. I got that animated.
Okay, but hang on. So there's a guy that on Twitter that Bo Black's found that would come inside of his Sonic plushie, and that was weird. But you're doing that to a couch, and other people sit on this.
No, it's only me sitting on the couch.
Okay, but why?
I don't do it anymore. It's just like that's funny.
Do I need to call Dr. Phil?
You don't need to call Dr. Phil. What the
I will.
fuck? I'm
Send you to the ranch.
Listen. If I was ashamed about this shit, I would not say it. But like
I know you're not ashamed. You sound very proud.
The only reason I say it is because it's funny and I make people laugh. You know what I mean?
Okay. Do you have?
What do you mean? Okay.
Do you have like a hole cut out that your dick goes in?
No, it's just like the creases of a couch.
All right.
Literally pull it up on screen. I talked about this on the I have the animatic. It's like a minute and a half. Watch it.
All right, we're gonna watch this now. Okay. So, what's it called? SMEEF? Couch?
Yes, SMEEF the couch animatic.
The couch.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Oh god. Here we go. Come on, load.
The production quality is pretty good.
Enjoy. Oh,
You would fucking SMEEF. Jesus, what's up? Okay, all right. I have a beef with you, all right? And we need to get this cleared out right now, under 30 minutes, apparently, for the show.
All right.
Why is it that
Hold
you
on,
are...
before I go on, you sound like you're away from the microphone. Like, are you coming in the couch at that point? Like,
No. This
you're
is
talking
like
about the
early-
couch, and you get all hot and flustered. Oh, I gotta go fuck my couch.
This is the early days of the SMEEF show. This is like
So
early,
outwardly
this is episode
horny.
6.
on Twitter? I asked this
I'm
as a
not-
24-year-old to a
look,
16-year-old, just
listen,
asking
Listen,
as
most of it,
you
most
know.
of it is jokes. Most of it is jokes, but sometimes.
Okay, you say most of it. That is a red flag to me. That means that
Well-
some of it is not.
Well, whenever I tweet out like, "Oh, titties on the mind," I wish for some titty right now and shit like that. That I think that's a joke.
Get to
But
the
whenever
couch.
I'm like,
You think? Okay, so you're not sure.
I'm not sure because like I'm feeling
Oh my
something.
God.
My dick's a little hard. I'm looking.
Feeling something. What? Okay, listen. All right. What you do in your spare time in the dark behind your keyboard is your business. You don't need to bring that on the
my
podcast.
keyboard. It's not even on my keyboard.
I know it's too small.
No, I'm just on my couch. I'm just on my couch, laying on the side there.
Oh,
I'm
that's
like-
even worse.
I'm looking at stuff. I'm looking at stuff on my phone, and I'm like, oh, that's hot.
Stuff- again, that's so-
And then I pop a little chub, and then I'm like,
Oh.
and then it goes inside my couch. Like
You fart, so that's what gets you off. Is like you make a toot and
I come inside my couch, and then I'm like,
inside your. Do your family? Does your family know about this? I mean, you could be like growing fungus in your fucking couch, bro.
Listen.
I'm listening.
I have a couch in my room. There's two sets of couches. There's a couch in the living room, and there's a couch in my room.
Okay.
And then like I bust inside my couch.
Every time. Hang on, let me
sometimes.
just pause this.
Wait.
Every single time, I think we hit a point where it can't get any more fucked up on this podcast. Something just comes. Like last episode, we had Davey, who was a pornographer, and then he just all of a sudden said, "Yeah, I've been beneath balls." While he's filming people, and then I was like, holy fuck, I think this is the most fucked up thing. You've now surpassed that, and now I'm just scared the more we do this, the more it's gonna surpass.
The thing is, there's a fine line of funny and like just gross, and I think that's funny.
It is, but you know, if you can't ever now like date any of your viewers that have seen that episode.
I would never
'Cause
date
they
my viewers anyways.
Oh, yeah, it's probably a good idea. The couch didn't consent.
The couch did. No, the thing is, people said that about the yogurt too. I'm like, fuck, the yogurt didn't consent, and I'm like,
Are you
this is-
fucking yogurt? What is this? Canadian pie? Like American pie, but Canada, where you fuck couches and yogurts? Oh my god, what is it with you Canadians? You and Bo Blacks and fucking Ricky Berwick, are all fucked. These are all fucked somehow. And this is why we're superior to Canada.
Well, I'm better than Bo Blacks because he has fucking gravy on pizza, so it's kind of like.
Ah, yeah, it's pretty bad. And he says the N-word too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said the N-word once on my show
Why?
because I just slipped out and I don't
It
like
just
edit it
slips
that
out.
much.
Oh my god.
Well, the thing is, like, I was quoting someone and like it just slipped out.
You were what? You were courting.
I was quoting.
Oh,
Someone.
quoting. Yeah. All right.
My rule is if you're quoting something, then it should be fine.
Yeah. We should probably wrap up soon because I need to go to the loo again, and I'm about to.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm about to
That's fine.
explode shit everywhere. So what do you got to plug
So-
before we go?
Oh, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/SMEEF. It's gonna be epic. I'm gonna post more for you guys. If you guys want to sub or something, I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever. And watch my newest podcast episode, which I talk about like incest and stuff like that happens in my town. I talk about Joker. I talk about Ariana Grande versus Christian Bell. Whatever's fine. Follow my Twitter, twitter.com/SMEEF_. Whatever's fine. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thanks for coming, man. Subscribe everyone. Thank you to the Patreons as well. Thank you Signalboost for becoming a Patreon. And Ego Raptor, please make more cartoons.